Sahih al-Bukhari 2201-2202. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger appointed somebody as a governor of Khaybar. That governor brought to him an excellent kind of dates from Khaybar. The Prophet asked, "Are all the dates of Khaybar like this?" He replied, "By Allah, no, O Allah's Messenger. But we barter 1 sa of this type of dates for 2 sas of dates of ours and 2 sas of it for 3 of ours." Allah's Messenger said, "Do not do so, as that is a kind of usury, but sell the mixed dates of inferior quality for money, and then buy good dates with that money." Sahih al-Bukhari 2203. Narrated Nafi, the freed slave of Ibn Umar. If pollinated date palms are sold and nothing is mentioned in the contract about their fruits, the fruits will go to the person who has pollinated them, and so will be the case with the slave and the cultivator. Nafi mentioned those 3 things. Sahih al-Bukhari 2204. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "If somebody sells pollinated date palms, the fruits will be for the seller unless the buyer stipulates that they will be for himself, and the seller agrees." Sahih al-Bukhari 2205. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade al-Muzabana, i.e. to sell ungathered dates of one's garden for measured dried dates or fresh ungathered grapes for measured dried grapes, or standing crops for measured quantity of foodstuff. He forbade all such bargains. Sahih al-Bukhari 2206. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, "Whoever pollinates date palms and then sells them, the fruits will belong to him unless the buyer stipulates that the fruits should belong to him, and the seller agrees." Sahih al-Bukhari 2207. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger forbade Mohakala, Mokadara, Molamesa, Munabada, and Muzabana. See glossary in previous hadiths for the meanings of these terms. Sahih al-Bukhari 2208. Narrated Humayd. Anas said, "The Prophet forbade the selling of dates till they were almost ripe." We asked Anas, "What does almost ripe mean?" He replied, "They get red and yellow." The Prophet added, "If Allah destroyed the fruits present on the trees, what right would the seller have to take the money of his brother, somebody else?" Sahih al-Bukhari 2209. Narrated Ibn Umar. I was with the Prophet while he was eating fresh dates. He said, "From the trees there is a tree which resembles a faithful believer." I wanted to say that it was the date palm, but I was the youngest among them, so I kept quiet. He added, "It is the date palm." Chapter, where there is no fixed judgment, the traditions and conventions of community are to be referred. Sharai told the weavers, "You are permitted to follow your own conventions to solve your problems. It is legal for you to stick to your traditions and bargain." Narrated Abdul Wahab Ayub said, "Muhammad said, there is no harm in selling for 11 what you buy for 10, and you are allowed to take a profit for expenses." The Prophet told Hind, "Take what is reasonable and sufficient for you and your sons." Allah says, "Whoever is poor can eat from the orphan's property reasonably, according to his labors." Al-Hasan hired a donkey from Abdullah bin Mirdas and asked him about the hire. The latter replied that it was for 2 daniks, a danik equals 116th dirham. So Al-Hasan rode away. Another time, Al-Hasan came to Abdullah bin Mirdas and asked him to hire the donkey to him and rode away without asking him about the hire, but he sent him half a dirham. Sahih al-Bukhari 2210. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Abu Taiba cupped Allah's Messenger, and so Allah's Messenger ordered that a sa of dates be paid to him and ordered his masters, for he was a slave, to reduce his tax.